I could complain, I guess, but it wouldn't help. Good morning or good afternoon, whenever and wherever you are. Thanks for joining us for our first edition of Sully's short sermons that don't suck too bad. So we're off and running. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, I'll add some technology, some music, something that all the YouTube experts tell me I need to drive up my analytics. But for now, we're just going to start with a simple sermonette. I could complain, but it wouldn't help. How long has it been since you heard or said this? For me, it was just a couple of days ago. I was driving, going to Walgreens to the corner of healthy and medications to pick up my medications or for my wife. And the young girl was there working on the drive-through, real pleasant. And I said, "Hey, how's it going today?" Just making conversation. She said, "I'm doing pretty good." Well, I guess I could complain, but it wouldn't help any. And I just said, "Yeah, you're right. It's a normal thing that we say nearly every day. We hear or say somebody say this, I could complain, but it wouldn't do any good or it wouldn't help, whatever." I got to thinking about it. It's an important question, kind of stuck in my mind, and I thought, the dormant chaplain in me, I thought, what if I just stopped and said, well, it might help, complain. I mean, if you complain to the right person, I looked in the rear view or looked behind me, there wasn't a car there. Not that this would have turned into a 10-minute pastoral conversation. It would have been more like a 30-second awkward conversation where she said, "Well, thank you very much, Mr. Sullivan. Here's your medicine, and don't forget your debit card. It's in your tray or in your bag, wherever it was not last time you were here." That would have probably been it. But still, this question lingered in my mind. The importance of it is, should we complain? Can we complain? Is it okay to complain? Does it help? Does it work? So we're going to look at that for the next 8 minutes or 9 minutes, whatever we got here. Promise to always have you out of the Virch back door of the church, the back door of the Virch church. 13 minutes. So anyway, here we go. We're going to look at a couple of people always usually join together in sermons such as this. One is John Lennon, the other is King David. And so forgive me for that. But one of the more interesting songs lyrically from the Beatles' early age to me is the song "Help." Apparently, it came from the second movie that they did, where they're being chased by religious cult enthusiasts and maybe a couple of mad scientists or something, which is maybe the context for the song and does absolutely no help for my sermon whatsoever. But anyway, it is what it is. But John Lennon sings this song. Y'all know the lyrics. "Help, I need somebody, help, not just anybody, help. I need someone, help." And it's interesting because the music doesn't really fit the lyrics, the melody, the upbeat music. At that time they were doing "She Loves You," "Yeah, yeah, yeah," and "I Want to Hold Your Hand," and just upbeat, positive music that made the girls scream and throw their body parts onto the stage. And so when they sang the song "Help," it's a cry of help throughout lyrically. I'm sure that the teenage girls screamed and hollered and threw their body parts onto the stage just as they normally would. I doubt that any of them came up and offered any pastoral concern or care for John Lennon, but still he makes this plea for help in this song. So let's fast backward, if you will, about 3,000 years to King David, or whoever was in King David's Jewish tribe, his Beatles group, if you will. at the time when they wrote Psalms 121, verse 1. And he says, I turn my eyes, paraphrase here, I turn my eyes up to the hills. From where is my help going to come? And we look at the life of David. If you know anything about King David at all, most of us know a general amount of King David. It's not an obscure biblical character at all, but his adult life, there's a lot of times when he probably needed some help. He stole a man's wife, Bathsheba, committed adultery, then had her husband put on the front line so he would be easily killed to cover it up. His own son, Absalom, spent a good deal of time trying to kill him. His mentor, King David, also tried to kill him. And that's just his adult life. In his young life, when he was a young man, he was out as a shepherd. He fought a bear, he fought a lion. Hell, I don't know what else he fought out there. I'm sure there was other things that sought their prey in his sheep. But definitely someone who definitely needed help and needed it badly. And I'm not sure where he might have looked for help. Probably not from his wife. I think he had a wife, Michal, who got mad when he danced semi-naked to the Lord, which is quoted in Footloose, but that's getting a little off the subject. But I'm not sure exactly where he looked to help before, but in this case, it's very clear where he looks. He says, I lift up my eyes to the hills, but where is my help going to come from? But then he says, I turn to the Lord who created the heaven and the earth. So eventually, by the time he gets through with this psalm, which is called, it's one of those psalms, they're categorized. I think it's an imprecatory psalm, which basically means an "oh crap, God help me" psalm. So that's what David does. He looks to the one, the Creator, the Lord of heaven and earth, created the heavens and the earth, and he looks to the right place to find his help, at least what he believes to be the right place to find his help, and as far as we know, he does find that help there. I know the Beatles later sing their platitudinous song, "All you need is love," womp, 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 womp. Well, at that time they were needing a little bit more than love, I think, to keep going. But anyway, there comes times in your life and in my life when we might have love, we might have some of that, might have a lot going for us, but there's still something we're missing. There's still a help that we need. There's something that we need. It could be a small thing. It could be just the fact that we just accidentally put the jumper cables on the wrong terminals and made an explosive noise at our middle school and ruined our battery. Not that ever happened. Or it could be something more serious. It could be difficult bills to get paid, an illness that you're facing, unresolved grief, broken relationship, something like that. And I wonder, where do you go for help? Do you complain about that kind of stuff to anybody? Do you have somebody to complain to? Usually I complain to my dog. Sometimes maybe my wife, or my mom, or sometimes maybe to God. But where do you turn for help? Where do you turn when those times when you need help? Okay, I'm at a point where I need some help. A lot of us, I think, we turn to our churches, turn to girlfriends, boyfriends, relationships, friends, families. Some turn to our government, some turn to our jobs, to our motorcycle tribe, some turn to our intellect, self-help books, food, exercise, alcohol. All seemingly possible possibly good places to seek help for the most part. We even look to sports for help and escape. But I wonder, when you truly are lonely, dejected, feeling scared about something, maybe you're sick, broke, pissed off, where do you go for help? Who do you complain to? Well, we don't know exactly in the song where the Beatles went to for help, I guess. We do know that King David looked up into the hills, and then he looked up to the Lord who created the heaven and earth for his help. And that's where he found his help. I wonder, the next time you hear or you say to someone, "Oh, I guess I could complain, but it wouldn't help." What if you might at least say to yourself, "Well, I guess there is some place that I could turn to for help and complain to, maybe." Maybe you too will also look up to the Lord who created the heavens and the earth, from whom every good and perfect gift comes. A Father who sent his own Son, who knows us and loves us and best knows how to help us. And maybe, just maybe, you'll find some of that help that you need for that situation, large or small. My hope, my prayer for you today, this week, the days to come, is that when you find yourself in a situation where you need that help, that you're willing to go to the right person or go to the right God and find the help that you need. Thanks for joining me today. Have a great week.